Hi, I'm Rachel Rifkin. I am the Director of Support Group Services at the Alliance. So what I am primarily doing is overseeing all of our free clinician-led support groups that are pro-recovery based for individuals as well as for supporters and loved ones all across the country and even the globe. In terms of what our groups are, we have currently 21 different support groups. 7 of our groups are in person in various cities around the country, and the remaining 14 at the moment are virtual. And what virtual means is they are on a HIPAA-compliant Zoom platform, and it is free to join, and you can join from all over the world. So we've had folks join from all 50 states and over 88 countries. What is really exciting about our groups is that they are the only eating disorder specific support group out there that is not only free, and the majority are weekly, they are also clinician-led. And what clinician-led means is that they are always facilitated by at least a couple of licensed therapists, dietitians, social workers, a lot of different varieties of helping professionals that have eating disorder training experience. Also, several of them have their own lived experience, so it creates this really unique peer-like feel without it being a peer-to-peer specific group. So it's a really beautiful space to hold that balance of, yes, we're bringing in the humanness, the relatability. A lot of facilitators bring in that authentic experience from their stories, while also still having that clinical training and oversight to really ensure there's a foundation of safety and support. So we're talking about truly recovering to life, even if we don't know what that looks like. Currently, we have 6 individual general pro-recovery groups, and those are for anyone ages 18 and over. We have several friends and family specific support groups. We have one that's virtual, one that is specifically mom to mom, so for female identifying caregivers, and those are for supporters only, actually ages 12 and up, if you please attend with, an adult, a guardian. But that is so there can be a space specifically for supporters, family, friends, coaches, teachers, cousins, siblings, to have a space to also learn not just what their loved one might be going through with the eating disorder, but how to also take care of themselves, how this might be affecting their world, how to best show up and model their own needs and well-being to best take care and be a support for their loved one. We additionally have several identity-specific groups, and right now, what those are, we have a larger-bodied individual support group, and that is for folks who are living and experiencing recovery, navigating that in a larger body. And we know that that can be a spectrum of how that's interpreted, how that's experienced. Some folks might have formerly identified as being in a larger body. Some folks might be recovering to a larger body. We know that there's some nuance in that, but the best way that we sort of describe it in terms of who it can resonate with is if you are recovering while actively experiencing anti-fat bias and weight stigma, and that has directly impacted your recovery journey and can directly impact your life now. What's really cool about that group is it is also facilitated by several clinicians who identify as living in a larger body, fat body, also are in recovery. We have a midlife and beyond group. What beyond means is, nuanced. But for us, our midlife and beyond group is for individuals ages 40 and up. So we have folks in that space, literally age 40 and also all the way in their late 80s, even 90s. And it is gender inclusive, and it is also led by facilitators. Some are in their midlife, several in recovery. They all specialize in working with that population. And we're talking a lot about the overlap of how recovery can feel as you're also aging. There are inevitable changes that happen as we age, as we human, as we live life. And that's gonna impact how we take care of ourselves, our health. So that overlap and intersectionality, which is often not talked about. We additionally have a grief and loss group. So that is every 3rd Monday of the month. And that group is for individuals who have lost a loved one to their eating disorder. So it's a very unique space because navigating grief and loss in general is already a challenge and isolating. When it's as a result of an eating disorder, it adds a whole other layer of stigma and confusion and shame. And this is a space specifically to process that grief with others who get it. We additionally have a LGBTQIA+ support group that is led by all queer identifying clinicians, several of whom are also in recovery. And that is a group for anyone, this sounds so cheesy, but anyone in the rainbow, but anyone who's navigating their identity, gender identity, sexual orientation, anything within that acronym, and or even if you're like, I don't know, but that feels like it resonates, that is your space. And we talk about a lot of that overlap of identity clashing in relation to recovery, how a lot of that can impact really recovering into who we are, exploring and accepting parts of us that maybe it hasn't been safe to do so, maybe it hasn't been understood, maybe we didn't even know what that was. We additionally have a BIPOC individual support group that is for Black, Indigenous people of color, and that is for really any person of color in the space, also led by clinicians of color, to create a safer space for folks to really talk about that intersectionality. Again, we know a lot of marginalized identities are not talked about in eating disorder spaces, and we wanted a space where we knew folks could show up and be, and actually even learn some of the understanding that it's not even taught because it hasn't been based on folks of color. The best thing about the Alliance is no matter what, wherever you're at, however you're showing up, there is a space for you. You don't have to fully know what that means, what that looks like, how you even got here, but you're here and you're supposed to be.